he has uh, failed the oath that he had taken. And that oath was to abide by the Constitution and the laws. And above all, because Chief Justice of India is the head of the judiciary, and people look upon the Supreme Court as a protector of their fundamental rights, human liberties. But in a way, he has failed the people of India also.
You said two very damning things there. He's failed the oath he took as a judge, and he's failed the people of India. That is a very damning indictment.
Yes, that's how I look at it.
Hello and welcome to a special interview for The Wire. On Sunday, Chief Justice Chandrachud revealed he had asked God for a solution to the Ram Mandir Babri Masjid dispute, and God gave it to him. So today we ask, what should we make of this incredible revelation? And is it in keeping with the principles of constitutional justice which the Chief Justice is sworn to uphold, or does it violate and undermine them? Those are the key issues I should raise. Today, we present a view from within India's judiciary. My guest is a former judge of the Delhi High Court, Justice Rekha Sharma. Justice Sharma, let's start with what Chief Justice Chandrachud said on Sunday at a public function in Maharashtra. I'm quoting him. He said, "Very often we have cases, but we don't arrive at a solution. Something similar happened during Ayodhya, which was in front of me for 3 months. I sat before the deity and told him he needs to find a solution. Believe me, if you have faith, God will always find a way." The Chief Justice is clearly saying that he appealed to God and God gave him the solution. How do you view this revelation as a judge yourself?
Karan, the first thing is that when I heard this, I didn't believe my ears. I thought I should hear it once again. So I heard it again and then again. So by the time I got convinced that it was he, the Chief Justice only, then it was all over. I feel it was a shocking statement. In fact, speaking for myself, I was dumbfounded. You see, Chief Justice of India is a man of great learning. He is full of wisdom. And coming from him was least expected. And up till now, we were told, and as judges, that we do not need any third-party intervention while we write our judgments. Our only friend is the Constitution. Our only guide is the Constitution. And our only philosopher is the Constitution. And we cannot look beyond the Constitution when we deliver our judgment. But this is a new revelation. And Karan, I also feel that where was the need to open this chapter on the eve of his retirement? When this judgment came on Babri Masjid and Ayodhya dispute, we all had, some of us at least, though we may be a minuscule number, but we all had some reservations. But since the judgment had come from the Supreme Court, nobody had any choice but to accept it, and everybody moved on. But surprisingly, now there is another angle that has come about the judgment. And this is that the Chief Justice was seized of the matter for 3 months, and he was not able to find a solution, so he says, and therefore he sat before his God, prayed to his deity to help him out, and then came the light, and he was able to deliver the judgment. So the Constitution is set apart, and it is only probably the God which helped him write the judgment.
Let me ask you two pointed questions. First of all, judges are supposed to pronounce judgment on the basis of the Constitution and on the basis of the laws of the land. Chief Justice Chandrachud has readily and willingly admitted that he pronounced judgment on the basis of God's personal revelation to him. So, does that mean that the judgment was justice? Does it mean that it was a travesty of justice? Was it a miscarriage of justice? How do you now, in the light of this revelation that God delivered the wisdom, view the Babri Masjid-Ram Janmabhumi judgment?
Well, I do not know whether we can really call it a travesty of justice, but what I do feel is that it was not totally motivated by the Constitution of India and the laws of the land. When the Supreme Court, when the Chief Justice of India himself is admitting that he was in a fix and he was not able to take a decision himself, so therefore he turned to his God and he prayed to his deity. So therefore it means that other than the Constitution and the laws of the land, there was some third intervention, that was his God. And therefore, how can we say that the judgment was purely based on the Constitution and the laws? Judgment has already come, Karan, then whatever good, bad, or indifferent. So let us accept it.
But if the judgment wasn't based on the Constitution, and that follows from what the Chief Justice himself has revealed, then surely it's not justice in the eyes of the law.
Well, I cannot really say that it was totally based on what his God had advised him, but there was some third element involved in it, and that was his God. So there may be some constitutionality also in it. It may be a mixed judgment which is having the constitutional principles also in mind, and other than that, it is what he was revealed by his God.
Does this vitiate the judgment or undermine it?
It does undermine it.
It does undermine it.
It does undermine it.
Let me ask you a second question. One of the petitioning parties in front of the Supreme Court, and therefore in front of the Chief Justice himself, was the deity through what's called his next friend. So now, if the solution came directly from the deity, isn't there a conflict of interest? Because the deity is the petitioner, the deity is the person that has a problem, and if the deity solves the problem at the request of the Chief Justice, then surely there has to be a conflict of interest.
Well, it is very difficult to say that there is a conflict of interest. But as I said, and I will repeat it, that there is some third intervention in the judgment. And that is what is the Chief Justice is admitting, that it was a revelation that came to him. Now, as far as the conflict of interest part is concerned, you see, deity does not speak. It is through the next friend that the deity speaks. And if the Chief Justice had turned to the same deity, then technically, yes, there is a conflict of interest.
So if the Chief Justice turned to the same deity that approached the court through next friend, then technically there is a conflict of interest.
Yes, technically, yes.
The only thing is, we don't know which particular deity the Chief Justice prayed to, and therefore we don't know whether it's the same deity as the deity that approached the court through the next friend. Or would you say there is only one God, people call him or her by different names, but if you're speaking to God and God is replying, it's the same God doing it, it's not different gods?
Well, Karan, it's not for me to answer which deity he was praying to. I mean, maybe we all have our own faith. We all have our own gods, and we pray to them. Somebody prays to one God, somebody prays to another God. But from the recent prayer that he had with the Prime Minister of India, one of the deities was Lord Ganesha only. Then there may be others also. I have many deities in my room. So then I pray to everybody. Is he whether he prays to one God or he prays to many gods? That is for him to tell. How can I say that?
Tell me something, Justice Sharma. Many people, by no means, not all, but many people have accepted what the Chief Justice have said. Many others have been sharply, almost virulently critical. But suppose these comments were made by a Muslim judge or by a Christian judge. Suppose a Muslim judge has said, I prayed to Allah and Allah has told me. Or a Christian judge said, I prayed to Jesus and Jesus has revealed the answer. Would that have been acceptable? Because many people have accepted what Justice Chandrachud has said. Would they have accepted it if a Muslim judge had said, I prayed to Allah, or if a Christian judge had said, I prayed to Jesus?
I think I will be very candid on it. Supposing it was a Muslim Chief Justice and who had said the same thing as Justice Chandrachud has said, then I think the kind of atmosphere that we are living in, everybody would have been up in arms against that Chief Justice and maligned him. But since he is from a different religion, then many people are accepting it. I want to know one thing, Karan, that if ultimately judges have to turn to God for decision, then why have courts at all? Why not these contesting parties go to their the priests and the pujaris? They have a better communication with God than we mortals. So we don't need courts. What is the kind of precedent that is being set?
Let me ask, in that context, a wider question. The authority, in fact, I would say the supremacy of the law depends upon its constitutionality, on its independence, and on its transparency. Hasn't that been violated and undermined by the Chief Justice's behavior?
Certainly. You see, if you recall, Karan, what had happened was that when this Ayodhya judgment had come, then there were strange things which happened. Like we were not told who has authored the judgment. And then after the judgment, the judges had gone to a five-star hotel for dinner. And then their picture was also revealed, which was not a very good spectacle anyway. But now the Chief Justice of India has let the cat out of the bag. Now we know that the judgment was authored by him. And not only that we know this, we also know that the judgment was authored by him and he had approached his deity for a solution of the problem. And it was only after 3 months when he sat before his deity that the revelation came to him. So these things which were not known up till now, I really wish he had allowed it to remain under wraps. There was no need to reveal it because the revelation has done more damage than good. It was, you see, as they say, ignorance is bliss. So it was, we would have all taken it that it was a judgment and one side has won, the other side has lost. But now we have a different angle to the judgment.
Let me ask you this. When the Chief Justice says that God revealed to him what the solution should be, he's as you pointed out yourself, admitting that he authored the judgment, even though his signature was not there at the time, but he's now accepted and admitted he authored the judgment. Now, if he was the author of the judgment that was delivered as a revelation by God to him, on what basis did he convince the other 4 judges that this was correct? God, I presume, didn't speak to the other 4, or maybe he did. But on what basis did the Chief Justice convince the others that this is the right judgment? Did he actually say to them, God has revealed it, therefore please agree with my God? Or was there some other mechanism whereby God spoke to them as well? Because this is becoming tragic, comic, and even farcical.
I do not know, Chief, how the Supreme Court functions and how they discuss among themselves when a judgment is delivered. But I don't think he would have told his fellow judges that he has this revelation from God. But he has presented the judgment. They have accepted it, probably on the basis of what he has written. Maybe, I don't think he would have disclosed this, but that is for him to tell. We can't really speculate on it.
Tell me this. Judges are bound by the Constitution. They are bound by the laws of the land. Clearly, this judgment is not based entirely upon the Constitution. Therefore, has the Chief Justice damaged the standing and reputation, A, of the office he holds, Chief Justice of India, and B, of the Supreme Court?
Frankly, surely it has brought down the halo around the Supreme Court. Already fingers were being pointed out at the Supreme Court on many of its recent judgments. This one has crossed, I would say, all levels. Up till now, we all were holding this view and were under this impression that any judgment from the Supreme Court, whether it is an Ayodhya judgment, which was a long outstanding dispute, and when the Supreme Court decided to hear it, all eyes were on the Supreme Court, domestically as well as internationally. And then when it came, it was a disappointment for some. Of course, some people really felt happy that a long-standing dispute is over, whatever be the decision. But this present revelation, it has put a question mark on the judgment, in the sense that as though it is not fully based on Constitution and the laws, and there is some other agency which has helped writing this judgment, and the Chief Justice has revealed which is that agency. According to him, it is his deity. I think it has really, as I said, it has brought down the image of the Supreme Court.
As you said, it's brought down the image of the Supreme Court. Your words were, it's brought down the halo around the Supreme Court. What about the office of the Chief Justice? Has that also been damaged?
Yes, it has also been damaged. And this is not the only judgment, which there are many questions which stare the Chief Justice on the eve of his retirement. Well, since for instance, I tell you that this fellow sitting in Chandigarh, who was the election agent, what was he doing? He was openly, shamelessly stamping the ballot paper, and he's been let off. He was playing with democracy. An elected person was being thrown off from his chair. And the Supreme Court simply said that it is bad, and that's all, and nothing more.
Was that a lapse of duty on the part of the Supreme Court? Was that a dereliction of its important function to do justice?
I would put it this way, Karan, that Supreme Court should have gone beyond what it did. It should have immediately ordered a criminal proceeding being initiated against him. And he is roaming free. There is no action against him. This is only one instance I'm talking of. When, frankly, Karan, when Chief Justice Chandrachud took oath of office as Chief Justice, there were many expectations from him. We all felt that he'll turn a new leaf in the functioning of the Supreme Court. But he's been there for 2 years. But we haven't seen any change.
So has he been disappointing?
Of course, yes.
So the Chief Justice has been a disappointment.
Yes, certainly.
It's not just that he made this revelation, which you called shocking, and you said you were dumbfounded by it.
Yes.
But earlier in September, during Ganpati Puja, and you mentioned this yourself a moment ago, the Chief Justice invited the Prime Minister to his residence for Aarti. He permitted it to be filmed and the video to be widely disseminated. At the time, there was enormous criticism of this. How do you, yourself a judge, view that development?
You see, first of all, you're right. There was a lot of criticism on it. I feel that when Chief Justice of India is revealing so many things, he might as well reveal this also, that this Ganpati Puja which he had at his residence, who invited whom? Did he invite the Prime Minister, or did the Prime Minister come on his own? In any case, we all know that there is a thin line which separates the judiciary from the executive. By having this Ganpati Puja at his residence with the Prime Minister, he has obliterated that thin line that separated the two. And surely it has not sent the right signals. We all know that the government is the biggest litigant in the country, and the Prime Minister of India is the executive head. The Chief Justice is the head of the judiciary. If they are interacting with each other like this, and that too alone, then certainly it does away with that distinction and that line of distinction between the executive and the judiciary.
Was that a terrible mistake on the Chief Justice's part?
But I don't know, Karan, he must clear the air. He must tell us who invited whom.
But he hasn't. He's refused to do so.
He should. But if he can reveal this, he might as well do that. Otherwise, questions will continue to be raised.
Let me tell you this. Even the Prime Minister can't force himself to enter someone's home. He has to be invited. He can't just arrive and say, I've come to do puja with you. It's your home. It's your castle. You can say to him, terribly sorry, Prime Minister, it is not fitting and proper for you to be in my home doing puja. But that is something the Chief Justice had the right and option to say. It seems he didn't exercise that right and option.
Probably, I feel, Karan, that no Chief Justice would have done that. If the Prime Minister wants to come to his residence for puja, he would not have said, no, you can't come. But I think he would have done it in a better way. Like if the Prime Minister was coming, there could be others also.
In other words, don't make it an event with just the Prime Minister. Invite others as well to diffuse the situation.
I think so. At least his own colleagues, if nothing, nobody else.
One of India's foremost lawyers, Dushyant Dave, said to me 2 days ago that he believes Chief Justice Chandrachud has made these comments about God revealing wisdom to him, or the earlier invitation to the Prime Minister to do Aarti at his residence, because the Chief Justice wants to assert that he's a Hindu and that he wants to put himself in line for a post-retirement job. Do you share?
I heard that interview. I don't know what possible assignment the Chief Justice would be aspiring for, because now that he's retiring, there are not many appointments which would be in keeping with the office of the Chief Justice of next Chief Justice of India. So,
but earlier Chief Justices have got jobs in the Rajya Sabha as nominated MPs. They've been made governors of states like Kerala.
But they all came under heavy criticism. So he wants to opt for that, and the government is willing to oblige. And so be it. What can anybody say about it?
If the Chief Justice, and at the moment this is a hypothetical question, but it's not a less than credible question. If the Chief Justice were to be given a post-retirement job, Rajya Sabha, governorship or whatever, would it now, after what's happened, look very suspicious?
Of course it will. Undoubtedly. In fact, the previous Chief Justices, they are, even till today, they are under criticism. Nobody is sparing them.
We're coming to the end of this. Sorry, please carry on.
Some of their judgments which they delivered on the eve of their retirement, there is a question mark to them.
And the same thing will happen in this case if Justice Chandrachud gets a post-retirement job.
Yes. Given this background, yes.
Hi, I'm Karan Thapar. Over the last few years, I hope you've been watching my program, The Interview on The Wire. During that period, I've interviewed doctors, politicians, businessmen, scientists, authors, and even the occasional Nobel laureate. For me, it's been exciting. I hope it's been enjoyable for you. But these, as you know, are tough times, and if this program is going to remain bold, independent, and sometimes even defiant, then I think we need your support. At the end of the day, it's a truism, but editorial independence is best defended by the viewers. So if you would like this program to remain the way it is, forthright, outspoken, and interesting, then would you consider supporting us? All you have to do is to click on the description at the bottom. But more than anything else, I hope you will continue to watch the interview. Your viewership means an awful lot to me.
We're coming to the end of this interview. Let me ask you two simple questions. As you pointed out, this has happened right at the fag end of his 2-year tenure. I believe his last day in office will be the 9th. On the 10th, the new Chief Justice is sworn in. How much of a blot has this cast on his image and reputation? How much damage has it done to Justice Chandrachud's image and reputation?
As I said in the beginning, that Justice Chandrachud was seen as when he took over as Chief Justice of India, that he will change the face of the Supreme Court. Nothing of that kind has happened. On the contrary, he has got himself involved in controversies, one after the other, which certainly has dented his otherwise very, I would again call him also a very learned and wise man, and his image stands dented. I'm pretty sure about it.
His image stands dented.
Yes. And I tell you, Karan, what is sad about the whole episode is that he has failed the oath that he had taken. And that oath was to abide by the Constitution and the laws. And above all, because Chief Justice of India is the head of the judiciary, and people look upon the Supreme Court as a protector of their fundamental rights, human liberties. But in a way, he has failed the people of India also.
You said two very damning things there. He's failed the oath he took as a judge, and he's failed the people of India. That is a very damning indictment.
Yes, that's how I look at it. That when people of India look upon the Supreme Court for justice, for upholding of their legal and constitutional rights, for civil liberties, or violation in case of fundamental rights, then if those people are told that, look, the judgments that we deliver can come from God only, then, as I said, then why have courts? Then we might as well go to priests and have our case decided. They have better communication with God than we have, or for that matter, even the Supreme Court judges would have.
Finally, Justice Sharma, how has all of this gone down with judges that you know? You must have a lot of judges that you know. I'm not asking you to name names, but how has this gone down in the judicial community?
Well, not everybody has taken such a revelation kindly. Obviously, people are unhappy about it. Most of us. I sincerely feel, Karan, that he should have not spoken. What was under wraps should have been kept under wraps. At least then we would not have had entertained these kinds of doubts which are now being spoken about.
So he's made a terrible mistake.
Yes, where was the need? Why on the eve of his retirement? What was the purpose in telling the people that? I think one purpose was that he wanted to tell that, look, he was the author of the judgment. In one of the, I recall, this was much earlier, in one of the interactions with some of the journalists, he was asked who had written this judgment. He said it's a judgment of the court. So he didn't reveal, at that time, he didn't reveal that he was the one who had authored this judgment. Now, where was the need to do it now? There are certain things which we do privately. We don't go around making public. They have to remain.
A terrible mistake on many levels.
Well, I don't know whether he thinks it to be a terrible mistake, but we take it to be a mistake.
Justice Sharma, thank you very much for the time you've given me. Thank you very much for this analysis of what the Chief Justice said, what he might have meant, what its implications are. And as you pointed out, he's failed the oath he took. He's failed the people of India. I thank you for speaking to me. Take care.
Thank you.
Stay safe.
Thank you, Karan.
Hi, I'm Karan Thapar. Over the last few years, I hope you've been watching my program, The Interview on the Wire. During that period, I've interviewed doctors, politicians, businessmen, scientists, authors, and even the occasional Nobel laureate. For me, it's been exciting. I hope it's been enjoyable for you. But these, as you know, are tough times, and if this program is going to remain bold, independent, and sometimes even defiant, then I think we need your support. At the end of the day, it's a truism, but editorial independence is best defended by the viewers. So if you would like this program to remain the way it is, forthright, outspoken, and interesting, then would you consider supporting us? All you have to do is to click on the description at the bottom. But more than anything else, I hope you will continue to watch The Interview. Your viewership means an awful lot to me.